Clan government is a system where familial relations are extremely important. This is represented in-game by various mechanics that separate it from feudal and other government types. In this video I'll be explaining all those mechanics and everything else that has to do with clan government in CK3. First off, what's required to become clan government? Of course, many characters in any stardate are already clan. But what if you wanna make a clan realm from scratch? To adopt clan government, you must follow a Muslim faith. Or your culture must have either Iranian, Turkic or Arabic cultural heritage. If you fulfill this requirement, you can adopt clan government the same way you would adopt feudal, with a major decision if tribal, or through a settled step decision if you're nomadic. Another way you can adopt clan government is if your liege has clan government. Then you get a decision to convert to clan through your liege even if you don't have one of the required cultural heritages and you don't follow a Muslim faith. A clan government fundamentally differs from feudal, mostly in a sense that you want to have your subjects be your family. In feudal, having family members own land in your realm can be dangerous, as they can become rival claimants to the throne. But in clan, you need to have alliances with all your powerful subjects, or else they lose 30 opinion with you. If they are closely related to you, you can negotiate an alliance without a marriage. Landing house members is also important because of the house unity mechanic. This is also where the Muslim faith comes in handy, as they allow polygamous marriages. Since every male character can have up to 4 wives, creating alliances through marriage is much easier. An interesting thing about clan government is that they have access to the conquest CBs, just like tribal government, though without the disadvantages of that government. Conquest is great for quickly and easily scooping up any land held by weaker rulers, for just the cost of some prestige, or some piety if you're attacking someone of the same faith. There's County Conquest CB, Duchy Conquest CB, and even the Subjugate Kingdom CB, allowing to take a whole kingdom. Usually you can use the CB once per lifetime, but through the house unity mechanics you could use the CB as much as you want to. I'll go over that in detail during the house unity segment of this video. In feudal realms, the amount of tax and levy you get from your subjects depends on the feudal contract with each individual vassal. In clan, it's very different. While there still are vassal contracts, there are only the special rights options, but no tax or levy contribution options. That's because how much they give you is entirely down to the tax jurisdiction mechanic. You can see the tax jurisdictions mechanic by clicking on their icon here at the bottom of the sidebar. So how do tax jurisdictions work? Each jurisdiction can have up to 12 of your subjects assigned to it. Here your subjects are referred to as taxpayers. Subjects are appointed to jurisdictions in order, so your starting subjects will probably fit in just one jurisdiction. But you can assign each subject to a particular jurisdiction through the Manage Taxpayers menu. Each jurisdiction has to have a tax collector assigned to it, and it has to have a tax decree. How much gold and levy your subjects contribute is entirely dependent on the aptitude of the tax collector assigned to the jurisdiction, and on the tax decree. Crown authority laws can then further modify how much your subjects pay, but the base tax is set by jurisdictions. Not all of your subjects might be part of the system though. Only clan subjects are part of the tax jurisdiction mechanic. If you have subjects that have a different government system, then they will contribute gold and levy according to their own government's mechanic. If, on the other hand, you are not clan, but some of your subjects are, then you get access to the tax jurisdiction system just for them. Each clan ruler has at least one tax jurisdiction. Becoming king gets you another one. Appointing a vizier gets you at least one more. The golden obligations perk in the stewardship lifestyle gets you one. The bailiff and court officials innovations get you one each. The legalistic cultural tradition gets you another one. And if you have the Legacy of Persia DLC, the Persian Enlightened Magnates cultural tradition gets you one, and the level 1 of the Brilliance Dynasty Legacy gets you another. So who do you appoint to be a tax collector in a jurisdiction? As you might assume, you are always looking to the highest aptitude collectors. There are 5 levels of aptitude: terrible, poor, average, good and excellent. The better the level, the more gold and levy your subjects give. Which aptitude level a character is depends mostly on how much they like you and their skill stats, with learning giving double the points of the other stats. There are also some traits and cultural traditions that give you tax collector aptitude points. Also, being landed actually gives negative points. And the last thing about the jurisdictions are the tax decrees. There are 5 of them in the base game, and 8 if you have the Legacy of Persia DLC. There's the basic tax, which increases the base tax for gold and levy by 20%. Zakat, basically a tax on the rich, which gives you more gold from your subjects and more gold from your personal domain, depending on how many Zakat taxpayers you have. But every Zakat taxpayer gets a negative 30 opinion with you. Ikta, where they give you less gold and levy, but you get a bonus to your men-at-arms damage. And they get plus 15 opinion with you and a discount to their men-at-arms. Ghazi, where they still pay less gold and levy, but they are able to raid your neighbors, they are faster at raiding, they get more money while at war, and it's cheaper for them to declare war. There's Jizya, where subjects of a different religion pay twice the gold, but only a quarter of the levy, and you can't revoke their titles based on their religion, and you can't demand that they convert. Remember, they have to be a different religion, not faith. If you have someone of the same religion as you in a tax jurisdiction, where you change the decree to jizya tax, they will automatically be kicked out. The remaining 3 tax decrees are locked behind the Legacy of Persia DLC. Mukata is available to all rulers, and it makes it so your subjects just pay the base level tax for both gold and levy, but they get a plus 30 opinion modifier with you. Deccan is probably the best tax decree, as it just gives you the biggest contribution without any penalties. To pass it, you must have the Enlightened Magnates cultural tradition, and only the Persian culture starts with it. And finally, Magu. It basically boosts development for you and your subjects, and it gives them 15 opinion of you. You can only take it if you have the level 4 Brilliance Dynasty Legacy, and the Brilliance Dynasty Legacy is only available to characters with Iranian heritage. Another unique mechanic is the Vizier. Most of the time, you don't want to have your character share their power with a dual monarch. In other governments, power sharing means that you're either a child or incapable. Your dual monarch can work against you and against the realm for their own benefit, and if they create an entrenched regency, they become even more powerful. And it can be a pain to remove them. In clan, however, power sharing with your vizier is a useful tool. When a vizier is appointed, it uses the usual power sharing mechanic. A consequence of that is that when you have a vizier, you can't have a regency or any other type of power sharing. While the vizier can still cause problems for the realm, and they could potentially even take the throne for themselves, they are much weaker than an entrenched regent. Also, they can't refuse being dismissed like regents can. So how do you appoint a vizier? You just right-click on yourself and take the Appoint Vizier option. This will open a window of potential candidates. Only landless courtiers or baron-level vassals can be viziers. This is another reason why viziers are less dangerous than many regents. You can pick any of them, but you will get a penalty if you don't pick the one with the highest vizier succession score. The penalty is -4 stewardship for 10 years, so you're probably better off picking the one the game wants you to pick. The vizier succession score is something that happens in the background, and you don't really need to pay attention to it. It's the equivalent to regency succession. It determines who will replace the current vizier when he dies. A thing to note is that with regular regency succession, the more powerful a character is, the higher the score. While with the vizier succession, a character gets more score if they are lowborn. So what do you actually get from having a vizier? Appointing one will automatically give you an extra tax jurisdiction, depending on his stewardship skill. Apparently he can give you up to 5 extra jurisdictions, though in my experience he only gives 1, or maybe 2 if his stewardship is over 15. At level 1, viziers get a boost to their tax collector aptitude. You also get most vizier character interaction with them. The vizier will apparently spend money on personal luxuries for himself, and you can force him to convert those luxuries back into money to give you, in exchange for some negative opinion and swinging the scales of power in his favor. Immediately, at level 1, he can try and embezzle some gold from you or the realm. At level 2, other tax collectors gain a bonus to their aptitude. But also you get a negative stewardship and income modifier if you dismiss him without giving him at least a county to rule. Since viziers must be barons or landless, giving them a title will automatically remove them as vizier. At level 3, other tax collectors just get a bigger bonus. This is probably the best level to keep the scales of power at, as it gives you the most bonuses without annoying penalties. At level 4, tax collectors get an even bigger bonus, but you start to pay a prestige penalty to actions you can usually make without costs. And you have to give him at least a duchy if you don't want negative modifiers for dismissing him. At levels 5 and 6, you just get an even larger prestige penalty, though at level 6 tax collectors get the biggest aptitude bonus. And at level 7 you get the maximum prestige penalty and the Vizier can potentially orchestrate a coup. As long as you keep your Vizier in check at around level 3 and you make sure to always have him like you, the sway mechanic is very useful here, the Vizier should just be a useful thing for your reign. The last big mechanic of clan governments is house unity. Dynasties are split into houses, and in clan governments each house is connected through the house unity mechanic. You can view the status of your house unity by opening the dynasty menu. Here you have a new tab. Next to the dynasty tab, which just shows you the regular dynasty window, there's the house unity tab. Here you see the house unity slider. It goes from 0 house unity points all the way over here on the left to 200 points on the right. The slider is split into 5 equal segments, each representing a level of your house unity. Each level unlocks different effects to play with. The most drastic ones are unlocked at the ends of the slider, with neither ones being necessarily better than the others. Each are just better for certain kinds of playstyle. To move the slider one way or another, you need to gain or lose house unity points, obviously. The most common way to do that is through unifying or divisive actions. Whenever one house member does a unifying action against another, you gain house unity points. And when they do a divisive action against a fellow house member, you lose points. Unifying actions are things like forming an alliance, paying their ransom, giving them artifacts, etc. And divisive actions are revoking titles, imprisoning them, declaring war, and so on. As house head, you also have more straightforward ways of influencing your house unity. There's a decision to steer house unity one way or another you can take once every 10 years, and you can do special interactions with your house members. You can extol virtuousness to give them the extol by house trait and gain some unity, or you can accuse them of decadence to give them the accuse of decadence trait and lose house unity. The 5 levels of house unity are antagonistic at 0 to 40 points, competitive at 40 to 80, impassive at 80 to 120, friendly at 120 to 160, and harmonious at 160 to 200. In the 867 start date, the Abbasids started antagonistic, and the Umayyads started harmonious, but for the most part houses started impassive, so let's begin with that. At impassive, the house unity effects are the mildest. You get a bonus to lifestyle experience, house members can potentially challenge the house head for leadership of the house. If you challenge the house head, you can try to either duel them or try to convince them to step down. And you get impassive succession. Each house unity level has its own succession type that will be imposed on all house members. Though all of them are variations on partition, impassive succession is like high partition, where your titles are split between your children, except your primary heir gets at least 50% of your titles. But in impassive succession, your primary heir is only guaranteed to get 25% of your titles. An important asterisk here is that if you're a little bit later in the game, and you or another house member has a succession type where not all children inherit, like primogeniture, ultimogeniture, or seniority, then you aren't affected by house unity succession types, and you get to keep your own succession law. Each level also has these house unity decisions that a house head can take. An interesting thing is that unlike all other decisions, these ones can only be taken from the house unity window, and not the decisions menu. The decisions for the impassive level are improved taxation, which improves vassal tax by 1% per landed house member, and consult house members, which improves your house member councillors. Is competitive. Just to the left of impassive is competitive. Here CBs are cheaper. House members' subjects are more likely to create claimant factions. House members can still challenge you to become house head. They can fabricate hooks on each other. You can use a subjugate kingdom CB every 10 years, instead of just once per life. Oh, and for some reason the house unity window calls the subjugate kingdom CB invasion CB, which is a different CB altogether, but whatever. I'll call it subjugate kingdom because that's what it is, just ignore the fact that it calls it invasion in all these tooltips. Anyway, you also get competitive succession, which is, as far as I can tell, the same as regular partition, where all eligible children inherit equally. And the house unity decisions for competitive are enforce intrigue network, which improves your scheming, and organize house members for war, which gives you 1 martial and 1 prowess. And further left is antagonistic. CBs are even cheaper, and you don't need a high level of fame to use them. House members are even more likely to create claimant factions, and can still challenge the house head. But they can no longer fabricate hooks on each other, which is interesting. Now you have unlimited access to the Subjugate Kingdom CV, and you gain opinion with house member subjects if you win a war, but you lose opinion if you white peace or if you lose the war. Antagonistic succession is the same as competitive succession, except the opinion modifiers you get with your subjects and house members is slightly different. House unity decisions for this level are organize house members for war, the same as in competitive, and reinforce army with loyal officers, which improves your men-at-arms damage and toughness. Okay, those were the low house unity levels. Let's check out the other side of the slider. To the right of impassive is friendly. Just like with competitive, you get less monthly lifestyle experience, and you get more dread decay. CBs are more expensive. You can't use a Subjugate Kingdom CB at all. But house vassals are less likely to create factions. House members can challenge the house head for leadership, and you get access to 2 new CBs, where you can declare war to release your house members from prison, or you can attack a realm to vassalize a house member that holds land there. You get friendly succession, which is just like high partition, where all children inherit, but your primary heir inherits at least 50% of your titles. House unity decisions for this level are set bailiffs, where you increase your popular opinion and control growth, and encourage house members to improve the economy, where you get a point in stewardship. And the last house unity level is harmonious. It's similar to friendly, except you get even more dread decay. CBs are even more expensive. House vassals are even less likely to create factions, and house members can use the befriend scheme on each other. Harmonious succession is like super high partition, where technically all your children inherit and your primary heir receives 75% of your titles. In my experience, this is basically primogeniture. Your primary heir often ends up inheriting all your titles and only occasionally losing a county here and there. Harmonious house unity decisions are encourage house to develop economy, so the same as in friendly, and placate vassals, which increase your subjects' opinion of you, giving you some extra tax and increases personal scheme success chance. Now, I did say that the 2 extreme ends of the house unity slider are supposed to be equally good, but in my opinion harmonious is way better than antagonistic. Sure, unlimited access to Subjugate Kingdom CV is nice, but it doesn't beat having basically primogeniture succession at the start of the game. Your vassals being more docile is also great, and besides, you still have access to the Conquer County and Conquer Duchy CVs. Well, that's everything you need to know to succeed in a clan realm. Thank you very much for watching, please like and subscribe if you found this useful, and if you wanna see more guides for CK3. I hope to see you next time!